Tyler Lee, red and black, home of the state championship plaque. But in '05 will still be holding, so I know which had to bring it back. Something about Tyler, cause them boys straight jack. Division 1-5A wasn't ready for the '04 sack attack. Boy, you should've stopped when they told you turn your head and caught, but instead you played us and took a loss. I tried to tell them we were the Lone Star boss. I mean, why else would they take a delay a game on the coin toss? So quit delaying the game, boy, we've had enough. Matter of fact, either make the call or just hang up, cause you just ain't tough enough. Go ahead and call a bluff and see if we can't beat you in blindfolds and handcuffs. Why you standing there looking amazed with no clue? Y'all need to find another sport our drill team can take you. I guess that's just how the Red Raiders will do. Y'all can have your whole school on the field and we'll still run through. You better play ace of base and see the sign. You're running for your life if you ever get caught behind enemy lines. Might as well take a knee and start praying. That's why all year the Red Raiders been saying, how you feeling, Red? You know. Texas State champ, oh show. Stop Tyler Lee, oh no. If you wanna come get it, let's go. How you feeling, Red? You know. Texas State champ, oh show. Stop Tyler Lee, oh no. If you wanna come get it, let's go. If you ain't winning, go ahead and close your lips. Got a whole team of captains, we just took over the ship. They falling down and blaming it on the slip, cause they know we deal out more shots in a 6-foot clip. Yup, better watch those running backs, they love to climb. The only thing our receivers dropping, other teams morale. Try to cross that line and get put in the grind, and we'll dual option QBs, what you gon' do now? Meet the linebackers, D-line if you want some. Try to hit for the end zone if you want your body numbed. It's like meeting Roy Williams coming across the middle, son. Cause our corners and safety make sure your career was done. Check out our pep rallies, boy, I mean man. With 3 times as many fans and one hell rocking band. Cheerleaders on handstands, pro group of these gentlemen. And I promise, we got the best moms in the land. Come take a seat in the stands and watch us wreck. Taking our teams from here to Waco, back up to the Metroplex. Spring West of the flex and got put to rest. By the time we left the Alamo Dome, it was who's next. How you feeling, Red? You know. Texas State champ, oh show. Stop Tyler Lee, oh no. If you wanna come get it, let's go. How you feeling, Red? You know. Texas State champ, oh show. Stop Tyler Lee, oh no. If you wanna come get it, let's go.
All right, so week 1 is upon us. Been drafting your asses off. You got teams to look at. You're stoked. It's football time, and it's early in the morning right now. So decided to do a little bit of that early morning show because really just wanted to have some of the early birds get up with me, because I know that a lot of you guys work early and go to bed early, and even on the weekends you go to bed early because you're old. A little bit like Nolan Howard, who couldn't be here with me this morning. He had prior engagements. I think he's working the concession stand for the girls' volleyball game, which that's awesome though. Have fun with that. So yeah, here we are. I stayed up way too late watching The Bachelor in Paradise with my wife. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever watched that stuff, but it's a train wreck. Seriously, there should be fantasy Bachelor who doesn't get in a fight with whoever. It's really stupid TV. It really sucks your brain cells out. So I'm trying to gather them back this morning so I can talk about fantasy football. The latest going on. Last night I saw where Zeke Elliott, a federal judge, granted her a request by the Players Association for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction to prevent implementation, 6-week suspension. That is mumbo jumbo, legal jargon, but apparently what it means is there's a good chance that he plays the entire season. So that's what they're saying. At least 6 weeks. Nothing's going to happen until at least November. So that is good news for people that bought Zeke, especially if you got the discount. Now, can you imagine going David Johnson and then coming back, everybody's scared, and going Zeke Elliott? I mean, that I don't want to play that team. You lighten up the rest of the league. So congratulations if you pulled something like that off and you had the balls to do it. I did not have the balls to draft Z. I guess really it wasn't that I didn't have the balls, but I didn't want to take the risk right when the news came out, and I had some drafts right then. And then he was too pricey here lately before the season started. So anyway, so today's show, we're going to talk about, we're going to do the crap show. I'm trying to keep the language down today because I know that some of your youngins are up with you. Injuries, the Thursday night football, lineups, DFS, big games this week, Survivor picks and strategy. If you're not playing Survivor, why aren't you? Fun. My bold predictions for week 1. So let's get it started. I think my crap show is Hurricane Irma. So I know that a lot of you found out earlier in the week that Miami and Tampa Bay are going to have essentially a week 1 bye because they postponed that game. That sucks for fantasy owners, but it sucks a lot more for people that are about to get hit by a hurricane. So keep in mind, while you're crying and bitching about your fantasy team, there's probably going to be a lot of deaths happening and people losing a lot of things. So keep that in mind before you start griping about your fantasy team. But let's gripe about our fantasy team. What do you do if you drafted Jameis Winston, Evans, Bray, Sean Jackson? I don't know if you're starting him anyway, but and then Cutler if you really, really waited on QB. J.A.R.V.I.S, Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker. You need to make adjustments right now if you haven't already. They will be on a week 1 bye. I have one league that I have Winston and Bray. A few leagues that I have J.A.R.V.I.S, which it's going to be tough because that's a high round pick, and for a lot of people, Mike Evans. I mean, that's your bread and butter, and you're not going to have him week 1. So you got to scramble real quick. The league that I have Winston and Bray in, I don't hardly ever, if ever, draft a backup quarterback. I usually will pick one up off of waivers if I need one on a bye week. But I also don't hardly ever, if ever, draft a backup tight end. So here I am with 2 spots that I got to fill, essentially 2 players that I have to drop that I've drafted that I know are good players. That sucks. I ended up having to make a trade instead of dropping a player in my main league. I had to make a trade for a freaking tight end because I didn't just throw this other guy on waivers. I was like, man, I better get something out of it. So I traded Jamal Williams for Jack the Card Doyle, which, I mean, Tolzien's probably going to bail out. Maybe he'll help me this week. That's all I really need. And he might be better than Brady throughout the season anyway. So that's that. You need to figure that out quick if you haven't already. Injuries this week. Odell looking more and more like a game time decision. That's not good. That's another one of your bread and butter players. But you kind of knew that drafting him. He got hurt pretty early in the preseason, so you kind of knew what you're gonna be trying to play the game of fill in there. Even if he does go, he's not going to be 100%. So start looking for other options there. Tyrod, he's been cleared and he's going to start week 1. I know that's not huge, but it is for LaShawn McCoy. This is one, I like to bring up defensive players that are going to have an impact on your players. Aqib Talib has an Achilles injury. He didn't practice on Thursday. If he doesn't go, that's a good thing for people like Keenan Allen and Tyrell Williams. That's going to be big. So keep an eye on that. Andrew Luck is out. They're saying it's at least the first 3 weeks, I think. So that's gonna hurt a lot of players. But Scott Tolzien, he's playing the Rams, which I love the Rams defense because of that. So That should be fun. On the defensive side of the ball for Colts, as if they needed more, Vontae Davis will be out. So look for Sammy Watkins have a really good game. Mark my words. Amendola left with a head injury Thursday night. I haven't heard much since then. He's in concussion protocol. Jameson Crowder had a hip flexor, but nothing to be concerned about. He's going to go. So that's just the key injuries right now. I don't want to beat the horse to death on that, but let's talk a little bit about the Thursday night game. So we all saw the game. Hopefully, you got to see it. It was great seeing football again, man. There's nothing like the first night of football, man. We get jacked up. Welcome to the show, Kareem Hunt. Good Lord. He looked like Jamal Charles. Andy Reid doing exactly what we know Andy Reid does. He finds a running back he likes, and he just gets behind them with just like a bullwhip and just let's go. I mean, that's a terrible analogy, but he uses them as a workhorse. So 17 carries, 148 yards, huge. 5 catches for 98 yards, and then he tacked on 1 TD on the ground and 2 receiving. He was just a beast. So look for him to just continue doing that moving forward. Everybody crapped their pants when he came out the first play of the game and fumbled the ball. I mean, it was just, I wish I could have seen everyone's face, including mine. I was just like, oh, God, here we go. But Andy Reid has a lot of confidence in this guy. So I knew he's going to get another chance, and he just scored the club up after that. Tyreek looked really good. 7 receptions, 133 yards, and a TD, and also rushed it 5 yards. He did come out of that game a little hobbled, waiting to see what that's going to be. So keep an eye on that. Alex Smith, man, he played like he didn't want to lose his job. All this talk about Alex Smith, freaking, he's going to be replaced. And Mahomes is great. I think he's going to be a stallion. But Alex Smith isn't done yet. And he went out there on Thursday night and he proved that. That team is really good. KC defense, incredible. I think they're the best defense this year. So really incredible. Keep an eye on that. Definitely if you drafted them, you're going to be looking good. Because, I mean, they got points scored on them, but it's the Patriots. So Tom Brady's going to score some points on Belichick. Speaking of Belichick always had game plans to take out one offensive weapon out of whatever team that they're playing. And if a team has only one, then that's how they really beat somebody. Patriots defense looked bad, but they did succeed in keeping Travis Kelce pretty much under wraps. He didn't do much. 5 catches for 40 yards. He got you 9, which isn't terrible in a PPR, but he definitely didn't do what we wanted him to, and don't expect that moving forward. That's just very good game planning by the Patriots. So speaking of the Patriots, on their side, Brandon Cooks, he was targeted 8 times, but he had a good game, and this is what he does. He gets big plays, but he ended up catching 3 out of 8 targets for 88 yards. Not terrible, not the best, not really what you wanted where you're drafting him. But again, that's KC defense. That's Peters guarding him. So I mean, that's rough. That was a rough matchup for him. So the receiver of the game was Amendola, 6 catches for 100 yards. He looked really good. I hate that he left with a head injury. The New England running game is a crap show, just like we suspected. Obviously, Gillislee is the one. If you're going to start somebody, it's going to be Gillislee, but he's going to be touchdown dependent. And if anyone can stop the run, Gillislee, it's going to be pretty iffy. So he did get some work in between the 20s, but mostly he was a red zone runner. He had 15 carries for 45 yards. That's crap. By the way, 3 touchdowns. that safety. James White carried the ball 10 times for 38 yards, 3 receptions for 30. Burkhead had 3 runs for 15. Dion Lewis had 2 for 9. I thought it was hilarious how in the beginning of the game, you know how they show their pictures and announce the starters? It was like Dion Lewis, whatever college I went to. And then, so they did that. Dion Lewis is supposedly the starter. He doesn't touch the ball on the first drive. It goes Rex Burkhead 2, and then it goes James White like 3, and then it goes Gillislee to punch it in. And you're just like, exactly what we thought it was going to be, a freaking nightmare to have new runners again. Just a few years ago, it was like this. So there's only been, seriously, I can only think of a couple of years when it's just been like, okay, this is the starter, and they're using it. It's a mess. I'm glad I didn't draft that heavy on New England running backs. I wanted to talk about lineups, but really, I think that what we're going to do is tomorrow I'll be on starting early in the morning all the way up until kickoff. Just hit us on the group page, let us know your questions, and we'll get them answered. We're going to do some fast and furious questioning for the game, start 'em, sit 'ems. DFS. I don't talk about this much, but I want to try to get pieces in this year. I'm not the DFS guru. I play. There's people that are admittedly are a lot better than me. So, but I will give you kind of some of the stuff that I've seen that really that I like. Starting with the quarterback. The quarterbacks that I like, Matt Ryan at Chicago. I love this matchup. He's 6,900 on DraftKings. Derek Carr at Tennessee, $6,700 on DraftKings. Kirk Cousins for Philadelphia, 6,400. Carson Palmer at Detroit, 6,000. I think Palmer could have a pretty decent game, and he's really pretty cheap. For the running backs, if you're going to spend up, of course, Bell and David Johnson. But if you're going to spend up but not just like crazy, then look at LaShawn McCoy at 8,200 versus the Jets. I like that. DeMarco Murray versus Oakland. That's going to be, he's at home. He always starts strong. I think he's going to have a ridiculous game. 7,400. Todd Gurley, my favorite play this week. Indiana is horrific. And he's 6,000. So look at Todd Gurley. Dalvin Cook versus New Orleans. He's 5,900. I like that. Christian McCaffrey at San Francisco. Anybody running against San Francisco. They did upgrade a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, but they're still, I mean, they're going to be bad against the run. So play anybody against San Francisco. And he's only 5,400, so that's pretty good. Isaiah Crowell, 5,300 versus Pittsburgh. At least he'll get the first half numbers for you. They're going to probably end up being down, but we'll see how that goes. Jonathan Stewart, another one against San Francisco. I like this more in a GPP, not necessarily my cash games. Blau Powell at Buffalo. 4,900. That's a pretty good price for Blau Powell. I don't see him staying at that range very long. And Matt Forte is 4,800, right under him. And I'm leaning more towards Matt Forte and GPP. But you don't want to in GPPs when I say that, you don't want to just load your team up with only these players that I say I would only use. You want to just like throw one of those guys in and get a solid lineup other than that. Carlos Hyde, oh my God, 4,600 on DK. That is going to be a steal. There's going to be a ton of ownership, so definitely I would use him in cash. I wouldn't shy away from using him in GPP either. Definitely Carlos Hyde. Throw him in your lineups. It will pay off. Duke Johnson is also 4,600. See, look at that. Duke Johnson is the same price as Carlos Hyde. Duke Johnson is a backup on a very not good team. And Carlos Hyde is the starter on a team that looks like it's getting a lot better on offense. So that it's just crazy how he's priced. C.J. Anderson also 4,600. That's pretty cheap, pretty cheap. Yeah, we all know what C.J. Anderson did game one last year. Got you like 25. So definitely you could roll with C.J. Anderson in lineups. Way on down, you got Jeremy Hill. He is the starter. He had an injury, but I think that he's going to play. He's only 4,400 GPP play. I like it. Rob Kelly 4,300. I like that. Frank Gore. Could take a chance on him. What else are they going to do? It's going to be Frank Gore. Tolzien's not going to know what to do unless they start handing the ball off on end rounds to Ty. They're going to have to run Frank Gore a lot. So look to see that. For the wide receivers, Julio, I think that the Matt Ryan Julio stack is the best stack this week. Chicago has injuries in the secondary, so it's even better. They're not good at stopping the pass to begin with, and now they've got some injuries. So Julio is the guy. Put him in your lineups. AJ Green at home against Baltimore. I like that at 8,000. Doug Baldwin, my favorite. Another stack, a good stack would be Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin. I don't know if I mentioned Wilson earlier, but I should have. Michael Crabtree at Tennessee, 6,000. I like that. You could do a Derek Carr stack. I tend to play the cheaper receiver because I think that you can potentially get the same out of Michael Crabtree as you can out of Cooper at a discounted price. Of course, Amari Cooper's the big play guy, and he could have a monstrous game at any time. So you could also take a chance on that. Really not a chance. He'll get production, but I like Michael Crabtree there. Sammy Watkins, versus Indiana. I mentioned it earlier. I think be a good GPP play. Terrell Pryor, I like it. 6,100. Martavius Bryant, first game back. I feel a narrative coming. I think that he could really just break out his first game back. So definitely sneak him in a lot of lineups. Stephon Diggs, New Orleans, 6,000. Larry Fitz. Larry Fitz for the first 10 weeks of the year, the last however many freaking years, decade, has been nothing but money. And last year or a couple of years back, I remember he stayed at like $7,000 the entire season on FanDuel. And I used him nearly every week, and he just produced every week. So start out strong with Fitz. Kelvin Benjamin, a good GPP play, I think. Jameson Crowder, a good play, 5,600. Pierre Garçon, 5,300. They're going to have to go to him. Brandon Marshall at Dallas. This will be that situation where I don't think that OBJ is going to be playing. So Brandon Marshall looks like somebody that I would try to sneak in some of my lineups. Adam Thielen, another like Diggs. It's a great matchup against New Orleans. We all know how that defense goes. John Brown, sneaky GPP. I know everybody's down on him because of his injuries and illness and all that stuff, but man, he's a good player. Eventually, he's going to come back and he's going to be a good football player. And he's still young. He's still got it. And they don't have just like 1,000 receivers there. So he's got to get the ball. Kevin White, I love it at 4,200. A lot of people will be on this though. So if you're playing GPP, expect that. Rashard Matthews, I love it. $4,200, man. That is great. You could do a Mariota Matthews stack. I like that a lot. Tyler Lockett, good GPP play. the Green Bay Seattle game is going to be a big game. So I really think there's going to be a lot of fantasy points out there during that game. So definitely look at some of your sneaky plays for both sides of that ball. Uh, Marvin Jones, man, he tore it up last year, first game of the year. I'm looking at a narrative there, just throwing a dart. It is against Arizona. Their secondary is beastly, so he would have to really have to escape. But all it takes is 2 or 3 long catches, and I mean he's easily got what you paid for him. Sterling Shepard, another one of those with OBJ out, could be a sneaky play. Taylor Gabriel, I think, is going under the radar in drafts and DFS and everything. I mean, he's a very efficient player. He's downfield threat, big plays. He's only 4,000 on DraftKings, so a good GPP play there. Cooper Kupp could be another GPP play that you could sneak in. I think that it's going to be Robert Woods and Sammy Watkins, really, but you never know. I mean, they could get Kupp in there and get him going early, and I know a lot of you guys have crushes on Cooper Kupp. Fubu. Tight ends. Kyle Rudolph versus New Orleans, another player against New Orleans. 4,700. That's one of my favorite tight end plays this week. I'm spending up in a lot of places for Greg Olsen. San Francisco is not very good against the tight end. Jimmy Graham at 5,100. That's pretty cheap. And like I said, that's going to be a high scoring game. Get the players on both sides of the ball for Seattle and Green Bay. Delaney Walker, I like that at 4,300. Oakland is still horrible against tight end. Jack Doyle, Tolzien will bail out. I think that he could be a very sneaky play this week. The Rams are pretty decent against the tight end, but I mean it'll probably be a volume where he's going to get looked at a lot. Zach Ertz at 3,500, you will not see him at that price again. So take advantage. Charles Clay is a GPP play I like because who are they throwing the ball to for Buffalo? And Charles Clay sucks. Get it. Always hurt. He's not good. But you've got a rookie. You've got a beat up Jordan Matthews who we don't even know if is going to play. It's just, who are they going to throw the ball to? They've got this game is going to be horrid. But I expect the Buffalo to just run away with it. I love Jason Witten this week. I think it's going to be, I think he's at least good for a touchdown. So definitely look at Jason Witten. Man, the old guy is just still doing it. Defenses. I love Buffalo at home against the Jets. There could be some weather in Buffalo. There's weather right now, and I think that it's part of that whole tropical system, or maybe it's just rain. I don't know, but I know that it is coming down in Buffalo as of last night. So keep an eye on that. That could be another reason actually to play their defense. It could be really low scoring. Houston at home against Jacksonville. No matter which one of these guys is the quarterback, it's going to be kind of horrible. So if it's Chad Henne, if it's whoever it is, Houston's going to take care of that. Let's see. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. I still think Pittsburgh is going to have a great defensive game. Even though Cleveland's offense has improved, it's still going to be they're going to get some here. The Rams versus Indiana at home. I love it. I've been talking about it. The Rams D is going to handle things. Mark my words on that. The LA Chargers D at Denver. I think that they will have a whole lot to prove to their fans. So there could be a little rat on the ass. So I like them this week, and they're only 3,000, so it could be a good chance. And I also like Arizona, even though they're at Detroit, they're a good defense. So um, I wouldn't mind taking a chance on that. So um, trying to see if I'm having technical difficulty here. So maybe not. Be about par for the course. So let's see. Wanted to talk about big games. I think Oakland at Tennessee is going to be a high scoring game. Get players on both of those teams. And definitely there's plenty of weapons on both sides. Amari Cooper, Crabtree. I don't like Jared Cook. They've never thrown the ball to the tight end, so just getting a new tight end is not going to add just plays to the playbook that go to the tight end. So I don't like Jared Cook at all. But you know, maybe Marshawn Lynch. I don't know. That run D is pretty good, but I think the passing weapons there, Derek Carr and the two stud receivers. Then on the other side of the ball, Mariota, Rashard Matthews, even Eric Decker. Um, it would take a lot for me to convince me to start Eric Decker over a lot of people. I would much rather roll Rashard Matthews out there. It's all about with quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks that have been through an injury like Mariota. His first game back, he's going to want to find his bread and butter in a player that he trusts and he has a connection with and has always had one. I think Rashard Matthews is going to be the guy all season long for him. You want to throw the ball up and know that the guy that you're throwing it up to is going to be there, and not only is he going to be there, but he's going to make the play. So um, I really like that. Um, let's see what else. The Seattle Green Bay game. I've been talking about that nonstop. That's going to be a high score. Lots of people on both sides of the ball. Doug Baldwin, Russell Wilson, Jordy, Ron, even like Martellus Bennett to get in the end zone in this one. I think it's really going to be a big game. Uh, Vegas has it as 51 over under, so there's going to be some points up there. Let's see here. Atlanta at Chicago. Now, both sides of the ball, I don't know about that. But the Atlanta side of the ball, everybody. Get them out there, put them in your lineup. Um, I mean, don't go crazy. Don't throw Taylor Gabriel in there on a just, I mean, if you want to get really risky, you can do that. But I like Taylor Gabriel better in DFS for sure than regular season. So that's that. Let's talk a little bit about Survivor. I don't know how many of you are playing Survivor, but if you're not, you need to be. Uh, it's so much fun. I love having something where I can cheer for the game because most of the times in fantasy, you're not cheering for the actual outcome of the game. You want more points. You want, I mean, that's it. You want a close game. So people still are playing their butts off. Um, but in Survivor, you're cheering for the outcome. Obviously, you're picking one winner and hoping everybody else is picking a loser. Strategy for Week One Survivor. Um, you want to advance after Week One, I think. I mean, obviously, but you want more of a sure thing. And on my notes, I said you don't want to use somebody like New England to do that. I wrote these up a couple of days ago, obviously, and hopefully not everybody just lost because of using New England week one. But you want to use somebody like Atlanta or somebody that's like it's pretty much guaranteed that they're going to win because you want to move on. There's nothing worse than getting knocked out week one. Um, so my picks this week, my favorite picks are Buffalo at home against the Jets. Um, they're they're expected to win. They're the 9 point favorite, so I like Buffalo a lot. Atlanta, like I said, at Chicago, Pittsburgh, at Cleveland. Those are my three favorites right there. Any of those three, you should advance unless something crazy happens, which is football, and so it could always happen. Risky plays, risky picks, but they do have a chance. So, I mean, if you want to take a little bit of a risk, you can do it, but it is a risk. But you could get some of these teams out of the way early too. Houston at home versus Jacksonville. They're the 5.5 point favorite. That could be a good one. And it's only risky because the Houston offense is still a little needs to be proven for me. I need to see them. You know, I saw Deshaun Watson in preseason, but it's preseason. I need to see them play a game or two before I put my entire Survivor season on them, honestly. Carolina and San Francisco, I mean, it should be a win, but the San Francisco offense has looked a lot better, I think. They've got just a better offensive system now. Hoyer the Destroyer. It could be close, but I think Carolina does win it. Stay away from games that are known to be close, like Dallas and the Giants. It's going to be close regardless of who's in there. If OBJ's not playing, if he is, it's going to be close. So I know that as a Cowboys fan, I feel like they're going to kick the shit out of them because we have Zeke and we have all of our offensive weapons. So, but still, that game's just historically close. Denver at home against the Chargers. This game I think will be close too. Arizona at Detroit. It's risky. I do think Arizona's going to win, but it's pretty risky. Minnesota at home against New Orleans. That will be something enticing because people think, you know, Drew Brees on the road doesn't do as well. New Orleans defense is terrible. Sam Bradford is God. No. But Sammy B is going to have a good game, but it's just as far as the outcome goes, I'm not putting anything on it. I'm staying away from that. Green Bay at home versus Seattle. Love it for fantasy, hate it for Survivor. Do not drink that Kool-Aid. All right, we are moving through this quickly. Let me see what we're looking like on time. Oh yeah, we're doing good. So I wanted to look at some of my bold predictions for week one, and these are bold, hands down, they're bold. So my first one is Todd Gurley finishes fourth or better among running backs this week. I think this is the best setup that Todd Gurley has had in a long time. The offense is so much better. They've made so many improvements. I feel like Jared Goff's he's got a lot of games under his belt now. I think that he's grown. He's matured as a quarterback. I think he's really gonna do better this year. I still think they're probably gonna be a losing team, but I think that the potential is there for Todd Gurley to succeed this year. And we all know that he's got the talent. We've seen it. He's a great player. So I think the line's better. I think the play calls are better. He's really gonna have a lot of opportunity this year. And I targeted him hard. I didn't actually get him in any of my leagues because he was either overpriced or he just didn't fall to me. But I really wanted him. I really think the people that have him this year have a golden egg. I think he's really going to have a great season. And what better way to start than against the crappy Indianapolis Colts? They're going to be so bad, like so bad. He's going to be able to run up and down the field on them. If he wants to come like back all the way to the 10, get his picture taken, and then go back all the way the other way, and then come back and text his girlfriend and go back all the way the other way. I think he can do it on the Colts. They're going to be horrific. Let's see. My other bold prediction sticks with the Rams. Kind of ironically, there's a lot of haters on this guy. Obviously, Buffalo hated him because they traded him. But Samuel Watkins, Sammy Watkins, bold prediction. He gets 100 yards and 2 TDs this week. That's pretty bold. Pretty bold. Pretty bold. But it could happen. I think he's going to at least have a lot of yards. I think he gets in the end zone at least once. But my bold prediction is 100 yards. And keep an eye on that, and everybody can spot check me tomorrow. Tomorrow, football is tomorrow, you guys. I don't even know. I'm so excited. I don't even know. God, it's crazy. And plus, I'm going to the Cowboys Giants game, so look for me on TV. I'm going to be there screaming with my obnoxious friends, Zach Nolan and Fubu Randolph. We're going to be obnoxious. So I feel very sorry for the people who are sitting in and around our area of seat numbers. They're probably going to, if they're not going to be standing up and yelling with us, then they're definitely going to be annoyed. And I really hope some Giants fans sit next to us so I can just tell Zach to get them. Anyway, we'll probably get that out. Anyway, another bold prediction. And really, it's not that bold, in my opinion. I think it's just going to happen. Carlos Hyde rushes for over 100 yards and has at least 5 receptions. Looks like I am lagging a little bit. What the deal is there. Okay. Yeah, always technical difficulties with me because that's how I have electronic aids. Anything I touch with the cord or internet wave or cell phone, anything I touch, it just dies. So yeah, electronic aids is what that's called. I don't know if any of you have it. Highly contagious. Be careful. Yeah, so Carlos Hyde, over 100 yards and at least 5 receptions. I think he's going to have a big game. I'm sure that he punches in at least once. But prediction is 100 yards and 5 receptions. Let's see. Jamison Crowder will lead the Washington Redskins in receiving this week. That's my bold prediction. I think Terrell Pryor has a good game. I really do. I just feel like Crowder's going to, my bold prediction, I think he's going to lead the team in receiving. And you got Jordan Reed, you got everybody out there, but I really think that Crowder's going to be the guy. I'm really interested to see if Josh Doxson makes his appearance this week and does well. That would be awesome. He's one of my players that I've just loved the whole time. So I hope that he does. Bold prediction number 5. Marshawn Lynch rushes for less than 3 yards per carry. I don't like Marshawn Lynch this season. I don't like him this week. Tennessee, the scheme is good. The defense is good. The run defense is really good. They're going under the radar. Not very many people drafted them for season long, but watch them. This team has gotten a lot better, and especially everybody looks at all the weapons they got on the offensive side, but the defense, man, the defense is going to be good. Keep an eye on that. But yeah, Marshawn Lynch, less than 3 per carry this week. Bold prediction number 6. Leg Blunt gets 2 TDs. That's LeGarrette, Leg Blunt, 2 TDs. Now, he might only have 5 yards, but he punches it in twice. That's my bold prediction. I mean, that's not very bold, but it's just like, I've got LeGarrette Blount having to go instead of J.A.R.V.I.S in one league, and man, that's what nightmares are made of. Things like that. When you're having to bench J.A.R.V.I.S because of a week 1 bye, and your best option because you didn't draft depth, you just have starters, starter heavy. I did that in 3 leagues, by the way. I mean, I had one league where, let me see, I'm going to pull it up real quick just to share with you guys because I know you're so interested in my draft. Let's see, ESPN. Yeah, I had a few. I had a few that I just went just nuts on starters, and you can do that in auctions because they're awesome. But here's one of them. Let's see. I waited a very long time on quarterback and ended up this week I'm playing Carson Palmer, which is unfortunate. But the rest of my guys, I have David Johnson, Devonta Freeman, Larry Fitz, Devontae Adams, uh, who is Jarvis Landry, which he's not playing this week, Kareem Hunt, and those are my starters. So I mean that's pretty stallion-rific. David Johnson, Devonta Freeman, and Kendall or Kareem Hunt is just going to be. I mean, I don't really need any other players, but it's going to be massive. I had a few. I had another draft where I got some pretty good starters. Um, yeah, this one: Drew Brees, Melvin Gordon, C.J. Anderson, Antonio Brown, Doug Baldwin, and then got a little weaker there with Rashard Matthews, but that's a pretty solid group right there. So yeah, I had some pretty good drafts. I had some that didn't go my way, but that happens too. Um, I'm really stoked to see what my team do. I know you are too. Um, I don't see that many questions on here, but like I said, tomorrow we'll have some Q&A. Start them, sit them in the morning. Hit me up. I'll be up early, so pop on and do that. Get your questions in. I'll help you with your lineups the best I can. We did have some questions earlier in the week, and I wanted to go through those real quick. Matthew asked, PPR, would you add Adrian Peterson, and who would you drop? Riddick, Zay Jones, or Kendall Wright? You're not dropping Riddick, but I do think you should add Adrian Peterson. It's got to be like a 10 team if he didn't get drafted. I don't have the highest confidence in Zay Jones. I mean, he's going to be one of their only options. I'm a lot happier that at least they have Jordan Matthews, but he's got a lot of showing and growing to do for me. I didn't target him in leagues, but I hope he works out for you. But Kendall Wright, come on. I mean, the Chicago offense is not going to be very good regardless. I mean, it could be Mitch Trubisky after week one. I did have faith in Mike Lennon, and he looked horrific in the preseason. So I don't know, but I would drop Kendall Wright for Adrian Peterson in that question. Todd, my man, he will ask questions. I love it. I love getting on and seeing questions. Todd asked standard scoring, pick two. DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Kenny Galladay, and Corey Coleman. Well, you're not starting Corey Coleman or Galladay. Mark them off real quick. You need to see kind of what they're going to do this year. Let's see. You want to start DeAndre Hopkins and Brandon Marshall in that instance. Then let's see here. Todd had another question because he's awesome at doing that. Pick two: Larry Fitz, Des Bryant, Corey Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs. That's some pretty good drafting, Todd. To get Fitz, Bryant, Sanders, and Diggs, I love that receiving core, by the way. That's a tough decision. If you can only start two of them, I like Larry Fitz this week against Detroit, and I know that it's going to be. I mean, they have one of the best cornerbacks. They have Darius Slay, but Pitts is going to line up in the slot. I don't know that Slade's going to move to the slot, so I think this is going to be good to go. Um, he, he's going to get open. He's going to get a lot of volume. Detroit does not stop the slot receiver very well, so it's got to be Fitz for me there, and then Des Bryant. It's got to be Des Bryant on the other one, the obvious one. But man, I kept it short and sweet. Nolan not being here, we'd probably banter a lot more, and I definitely missed him on the show. Rolling solo is definitely different. Rolling in the morning is definitely different. Um, Wanted to say also, if you guys, we really need the biggest help that we can get from you guys. Not only is to interact on the group page and give us your questions, comments, and all that stuff. But we need you guys to add people to the group. We need to get this thing as big as possible. Anybody that plays fantasy, share the video. I'm gonna also upload the YouTube version of this so you can share it, not only on social media, because a lot of people might not have social media and still play fantasy football. Some of the old school guys and stuff, guys and girls. But I want to do the same thing as I did last year and get those group ads up. And the more people you add, whoever's like top three people that add folks on there, I want to give them shirts. And one of the shirts here. Uh, this is one of the questions that I get the most. Not lineup questions, but what the is J.A.R.V.I.S? Because people don't know. I'm super nerdy. So back of it has exactly what J.A.R.V.I.S is. You guys can see it. This is another really very intelligent fantasy football system. But yeah, the top three people that add folks to the group or invite them to the page. I'm gonna get you some T-shirts. I'm working on a logo and gonna get some stickers, hats, all that kind of stuff. We're committed to this thing. I'm committed to this thing. Fantasy HP is committed to this thing. So even though we had to work concession this morning, stuff happens. We have busy lives just like everybody else. I appreciate you guys for checking this video out. I know that it's I really appreciate the support. We both do. So thanks for that. And we will catch you on our next show. So for the Showdown Fantasy J.A.R.V.I.S. And speaking for Fantasy HP, thanks again. And we'll catch you next time.